Somebody asked me what I was doing here when I came in. And did I know Gus Heningburg? That's it. First, this church, I was born in this church. My grandfather, Tom Russ, was the president of the Sunday school. My grandmother, Anna Russ, was in the Ladies' Aid. My mother, Anna Lois Russ, was a young socialite. My father, Coit Jones, was the treasurer of this church. I'll show you what I'm being here. My uncle, George Russ, was a trustee, I was baptized in this church. I was taught to fight evil in this church. My godfather was Deacon Brent, and my adventures as a young boy here are probably still known to some of the old folks in this church. And I still have nieces and nephews and cousins here today. I'm here today to talk about Gus Heningburg, who I met a long time after I left town for Howard University in New York, Bohemia, to become a poet. They returned to Newark to marry the artist Sylvia Robinson and raise kids, one of whom is Baraka, the South Ward councilman. I say this because it raises in my mind how I did meet Gus Heningburg in the very late 60s. I think after the Committee for Unified Newark, of which I was the chair, organized the Black and Puerto Rican Political Convention in 1969, in which Ken Gibson was chosen to run as the first black mayor in Newark. And Gus and I were on that committee, and of course we came from different wings of the Black National Movement. Gus from Alabama, where my mother was born, and his father, a Tuskegee professor, where my mother went to school. But he was from the centrist, more respectable sector. Myself, born in Black Newark, the Black Power militant, so the newspaper said. In fact, I had just got out of jail for stuff they made up about me during 1966. And then Gus and I would be in there with Gibson in the middle, this versus that, left versus middle, It should have been a sitcom, actually, because it was very funny. But we got it together, and that togetherness, that unity, which we sorely need today, brought Ken Gibson to victory as the first black mayor in a major northeastern city. And that was Heningburg and I running it back and forth, Some of those arguments might seem bizarre today, even to us, but they were necessary. And I see a few old folks in here who are right there. People, when they caution Raz about running for mayor against all that big money, I say, well, you all don't remember when we poor little colored folks, that's what our enemies thought, the Gibsons, the Heningburgs, the Barakas, when we whipped actual rich-type white folks and the mob for that historic victory. And it was this great victory that sealed Gus Heningburg and my friendship together all those years, as diverse as we were. We were friends because we had whipped somebody's behind together. He was the chairman of Newark Urban Coalition, the organization that big money created to forestall the revolutionary spirit. But Gus went ahead with his own agenda, which was empowering black Newark's unions and construction workers in their dealing with the people who really own this town, by getting some equity in their dealings, creating agreements to hire black and brown workers for those big jobs like the airports, the University Medical and Dental School, and later NJPAC also signed those kind of Heningburg-created agreements to maximize local workers. I only wish Gus was here now to make Prudential pay his taxes. Gus then got into broadcasting with Positively Black, which brought many of the black figures most of us wanted to see to television screen for interviews. But today, we must approach these things a little differently. The owners figure that now that we have struggled to elect an Afro-American president against the will of their right-wing owners who want to create a corporate dictatorship, they think it's okay for them to slide back locally to their old proclivities. They can even send Negroes disguised as Negroes to help. I know Gus would understand this. and would in his own way seek to counter it. But while we lament that Gus Heningburg is gone, and he was a great man, I agree, we must raise a new generation to take up our long and sacred struggle. I learned within Bethany's walls that evil would not win, but it was up to us, the living, to whip the devil where he stood. So I say, so long, Gus. I got one more poem to read, but so long, Gus. You were a great person, a good person, in your own sweet way. This is a poem that I think captures what we thought, even from our diverse political positions. It's called Revelations. The worst criminals are completely legal. They have laws saying they can steal. The worst murderers are completely legal. They have laws saying it's perfectly cool for them to kill. Why is this? Because this is hell. Haven't you guessed? The real question is not how to keep from going to hell. The real question is how to get out.